Yo, what's up, guys? Back with another video, and today I'm going to be predicting Auburn's 2026 football schedule. Let's get into it. Alright, so for game one, it's against Baylor. I think the home field advantage helps a lot, but at the same time, it's like, Baylor, who do they really have? You know, DJ Lagway. They have DJ Lagway, which he's not a very good quarterback. I don't care what his high school ratings said. That's why I don't care about high school ratings. He's not a good quarterback. Led the nation in interceptions last year, if y'all didn't know that. He had 15 of them. And I don't really expect that to improve at Baylor. I would say Florida had a better coaching staff, everything, than Baylor. You know what I'm saying? And now he's at Baylor with a kind of really nobody receiver room. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have any receivers that you know. So, like, if you go and look at it, you don't really know any of those receivers on that team. I already looked at it. None of them stood out to me. So, I just don't think Baylor can be a good team. I think Auburn, beats them handily, especially since Auburn is, known for having a pretty good defense year in and year out. And DJ Lagway just makes the stupidest decisions I've ever seen a quarterback make. He's going to throw like 2 picks. All right, we really all know how this game is going to go. It's going to be a blowout, one-sided. Auburn's going to win it. All right, so this game is really hard to choose. Honestly, Florida's quarterback, I don't know who it is. I honestly don't. I've tried so hard to, try and remember who it is. I don't know who it is, but it doesn't always mean they're bad just because you don't know who they are. But most of the time, it does. I just don't know if I trust Florida's quarterback, but I also don't trust Auburn's. I don't care. Byrum Brown, big name, came from South Florida. You know what I'm saying? He had all those crazy stats over in the AAC. But, sorry to tell you, but he's in the SEC now with elite defenses. Remember when he faced Alabama's defenses in 24 and 23? He played atrocious. He didn't play good. Throw picks, multiple picks. He just wasn't like he was when you see him facing Memphis or something like that. Memphis was decent last year, but they still weren't good. But he's not like that. You know what I'm saying? And then he's coming over to Auburn with a bunch of no-name receivers again, and South Florida transfers and all that into the SEC to play elite competition, and I just don't think he's going to do that good. I think he's going to be an average quarterback, 10-plus picks, maybe a Marcel Reed, which would be an improvement from his, recent years, because he's only been able to do things, good things against really, small schools. He hasn't done anything against, the Miami, the Alabamas that he's played. He's done nothing. And I'm just going to add on, Florida is going to have an elite defense. They had an elite defense last year. It's going to be even better this year, I think. Or about the same. I don't know if it'll be better, but about the same. So I think Florida can win this, but it'll still be a close game. Alright, so I think Auburn can win this handily. It could be closer than this, who knows. But I don't think Vanderbilt is going to be a very good team next year. I think that they'll just be good enough. I've said this in other videos. I think they'll just be one of those teams if they weren't in this conference, if they weren't in the SEC, if they were in the ACC or something like that, they'd be a 9-win team at least. And I feel like that's Vandy this year. I feel like, they're going to have 4 to 6 wins this year, maybe 7. I feel like that's their ceiling, 7 wins. Floor, probably 4 and 3. I can't remember if they have a 9th losable game, but they might, But for right now, I think their floor is 4 and 8, and their ceiling is 7 and 5. And I think Auburn's going to be a better team than them. I don't think Auburn's going to have a very good record. They're probably going to be about the most recent years, but that's only because they play really hard competition. If they were in the ACC, they'd be a 9-plus win team. But yeah, I'm getting off topic. Really, I think Auburn can win this handily. especially at home. Vanderbilt's going to be starting like a freshman quarterback, even though he's a 5-star. Everybody wanted Jared Curtis. He's still a freshman quarterback against a pretty good Auburn defense. At Auburn, the defense is always going to be pretty good. And I would say Vanderbilt, their defense was solid last year, but it wasn't an elite defense. I feel like Byrum Brown, this can be like the game that he really shows he can compete in the SEC, but not at like a high level with the Georgias of the SEC and stuff, and those type of defenses, Oklahoma, Texas. So, but I feel like this could be like a good SEC opener, other than the Florida game, but a good SEC opening win for Auburn and Byrum Brown. So, yeah, I just think Auburn's going to win. All right, this game is kind of like a 50-50. But at the same time, if you look at overall roster, who has the better roster? I'd go with Tennessee. Quarterback, honestly, I feel like it's more even than people might say. Byrum Brown, like I've said just a few seconds ago, he's really not that good. He just played bad competition and padded his stats, made himself look really good. Every time he played the Miamis and Alabamas of the world, he looked atrocious, threw interceptions, multiple turnovers. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, Tennessee will win this, especially with, home field advantage. At Neyland, that's a pretty hard place to play at. And I think Tennessee, they'll be a decent team. I just don't think they'll be like a playoff team. I would say ceiling for Tennessee, I would probably put it at like 9-3, something like that. And floor, I would say 5-7. So it's really kind of like an open team. They control their own destiny type team. But right now, I think I have Tennessee at 7-5 when I'm making this video right now. And I think they're better than Auburn, all around. So I think Tennessee has a slight edge, especially at home. So, yeah, give me Tennessee. All right, so last year we saw Georgia beat Auburn 20-10 with a lot of, like ref things, Kirby clapping with his hand. I don't know, y'all should know what I'm talking about if you keep up with college football, because I can't really explain it right now. But I think if they can beat them by 10 at Auburn, even with the, ref things and Kirby clapping thing, it still counts as a 10-point win. I feel like at home, at Georgia, I don't think Auburn would be the team to upset Georgia at home. That's just, like, it'd have to be an Alabama-type team to upset Georgia at home. So I feel like Auburn, they have a really big disadvantage going to Georgia, especially since Georgia has a much better team than them. So I think Georgia can win this, like, handedly, but not a blowout. It could be, but I don't think it will be. 28-14. Because Georgia is more of like a conservative type team. They're not about to light up the scoreboard with you. They're gonna like hold the ball from you, play conservative defense, not really aggressive, not aggressive offense. They're gonna run the ball a lot, short passes, not pass it a whole lot. They're not really a pass heavy team. But they will run it a lot down your throat, sustain drives for like 4 to 8 minutes, stuff like that. And I don't think Auburn can really compete with them. So yeah, give me Georgia 28-14. All right, so for this game, I feel like it could be a trap game for LSU, but I think with Lane Kiffin there and the new roster that they have, I don't think Auburn can upset LSU. It's possible. Upset's always possible. But, just looking at it on paper, LSU should win this game. They shouldn't lose this game. They have the better quarter. Actually, in my opinion, I would say they're about even. Sam Leavitt, he's honestly overrated. He is not that good. Who else? Well, I know some others, but I'm not about to name every single person that they have. But they have some dudes on their team. And Auburn, who do they have other than Byrum Brown? Some defensive players. Jeremiah Cobb. their running back. He is pretty good, I'm not going to lie. But, I don't think that's enough to win a lot of football games. Now, here's Ole Miss. This one could be a sleeper game, but at the same time, Ole Miss, they do have a better all-around team, I feel like, personally. They have the better running back, have the better quarterback, have the better offensive line. Defense, I would honestly probably give that to Auburn. So I think it could be a trap game. I thought about putting, less points. I think I did change it once, but I want to put even less. But at the same time, I've changed a few. I've posted some predictions already, and I think I posted them a little too early. I should have done them and, saved them up and then posted them. Because I'm still trying to change some of these scores, but I don't want to confuse y'all. Y'all see one score in one video, and then it's changed, the numbers are changed. I haven't changed any wins, though, because that would just be confusing. But I did change some of the scores, if y'all are wondering. I'm just going to let y'all know. Alright, so I've already said this in other videos. Arkansas, I think they're going to be the bottom of the SEC, the worst team in the conference. After them, it'll be somebody like Vandy, Mississippi State, something like that. But right now, I think I have it Vandy as the worst team in the SEC. Not the worst, 15th out of 16, and Arkansas is the worst. Then after that, I honestly can't remember. But I think Arkansas is going to be atrocious. I think the only good thing about him will be KJ Jackson. I think he's going to be solid, but, he doesn't have enough guys around him to be a good quarterback, an elite level quarterback with all those crazy stats. You saw Taylor Green. He was such a good quarterback and everything, but he just didn't have the dudes around him to really be an elite quarterback that everybody talked about until the draft combine, because his draft stuff was insane, but he just played for Arkansas. But they did have a pretty explosive offense last season. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was this season, but I'd be a little bit, because they did lose a lot of pieces. Alright, so for this, I think it's going to be a really defensive type game. It's at Mississippi State, going to be really loud and annoying for Auburn to play at, but I think Auburn can pull it out in a close, low-scoring game, 20-13. They're both going to have a pretty, at least, solid/decent defense, but I think it'll be good like last season. Yeah, I think it will. At least decent. So I think it'll be really defensive. And, this is where all the SEC teams start getting tired, injuries, you know what I'm saying? So this is what I think it's going to be. All right, this is their cupcake game. I can't predict the exact score, but it's going to be a blowout for Auburn. All right, so I really did want to make this score closer while looking at it recently, but I've posted 2 Alabama schedule predictions and had the score the same, I think, and it'd just be really confusing if I changed it when I'm doing the Auburn prediction, when I've done 2 Alabama predictions and kept the score the same. So I just don't want to confuse you guys, but I will say I was going to make it 35-20 instead of 42-20. Honestly, I was actually going to make it closer than that, but I didn't want to do it too close. I was really going to make it something like 27-20, just like last season. Why would the offense be better somehow? The only thing I see is it's at home instead of at Auburn this time. And I don't really see the offense improved that much. I actually see it taking a step back, on paper from last season. Worst quarterback, in my opinion, and should be others' opinions. Ty Simpson, he was a top 15 pick in the draft. Easily could have won the Heisman on a better team, or a championship. So this is a downgraded quarterback. It's obvious. Running back, about the same, but they did lose Jam Miller, who was their best pass catcher. But I think Kevin Riley can step up in that, passing running back room, because he did catch a lot and really good hands last season. If you guys go and watch it, Daniel Hill, their power back, he lost 10 pounds, didn't he? So he's going to be lighter, run faster. O-line, it got younger. I think it's going to be about the same, maybe slightly better. I don't see it getting worse than last season. Not much could. Receivers, I actually see that taking a step back. They lost their best receivers and replacing them with freshmen. So, I will say Noah Rogers, he'll be a good replacement for Isaiah Horton, but he's going to be hurt for the first few weeks.